Welcome to Bible for Modern Minds podcast.
We've all been at one of those crossroads, right? Staring at a really high-stakes decision. Could be a career move, a big investment, or, like in the source material we're looking at today, a potential life partner who just, on the surface, looks absolutely perfect.
And that's the real challenge. How do you draw the line between someone who's just a genuinely helpful person, a great friend, and the one person who's actually meant for your life?
Exactly. That discernment is so critical, especially when all the external factors are, they're confusing, they're flattering.
What's so fascinating about this source is that it's not just a story, it's really a masterclass in the practice of discernment. So our mission for this deep dive is to pull out the specific techniques she used. We're talking about intuition, we're talking about physical boundaries, and the power of a really specific submitted prayer that let her pivot away from what she just knew in her spirit would have been a catastrophic heartbreak.
Right. And that really brings up this universal question that goes way beyond relationships, I think. How can something look like God, sound like God, be supportive and kind, even meet your practical needs, but just fundamentally not be the right thing for your life?
Well, let's set the scene. So the speaker, she was single, living in North Carolina.
Okay.
And she was really enjoying her independence, professionally and personally. But life happens, especially when you own a home. Things need maintenance.
The practical stuff.
For practical stuff. She needed reliable help for, lawn care, plumbing, just general repairs. And this simple, totally legitimate need is the entry point for this whole emotional conflict.
And that takes us right into that initial conflict. So she gets referred to this man, a handyman who runs his own service, travels around the areas. And on paper, he was the ideal candidate.
Totally. She described him as a really nice guy, handsome, a good man.
He even called him absolutely a godsend.
A godsend. In terms of just reliability and the practical help he was providing, he was perfect.
And the emotional pull kind of grows from there, right?
He does.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't just fixing things, he was present. He starts expressing his feelings, saying they'd make a great couple. And she admits she was flattered. Who wouldn't be?
Of course.
He was attentive, he was respectful of her faith, and this is crucial, he honored the very strict boundaries she maintained. So this genuine friendship was able to form.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Despite all of that external evidence, the kindness, the help, the respect, she felt this profound internal warning.
Yeah, a visceral warning. She calls it a knowing in her gut and her spirit that if she let this relationship go beyond work or friendship, she knew, and I'm quoting here, it would be devastating to my life.
Wow. So where does that come from? That's not just a random feeling.
No, it's not random at all. This is where we have to dig into the roots of that intuition. That level of hyper-awareness is almost always forged in past experience.
Okay.
And she's specific about it. She talks about a prior devastating trauma catching an ex with someone else. A blow so severe, she said she was surprised she even recovered from it. That pain, as awful as it was, it refined her inner radar.
So she's not just having an emotional reaction, she's basically using her past heartache as a form of, highly sensitive data.
Exactly. She sensed what she called a player vibe, even though he never ever showed any of those typical red flags in how he treated her.
So if he's being so respectful, how does she even begin to rationalize that feeling? It doesn't make logical sense.
That's the paradox. She couldn't. The feeling was so strong that she actually confronted him directly about it.
Really?
Yeah. She basically laid her cards on the table, told him point blank she had a very strong feeling that if they got serious, he was going to devastate or break my heart. It's a really unusual boundary to set.
Almost like a preemptive strike, was she? Was she hoping he'd prove her wrong, or was it just a warning?
I think it was a warning, because she also felt that despite all his good behavior, he didn't fully see her.
What does that mean, see her?
Not seeing her heart. Not seeing her as a woman of God.
Yeah.
And that absence of true vision, even when someone is being super helpful, that's a huge red flag that we often overlook.
We focus on what they do for us.
Exactly. The transactional support, instead of how they see our core identity. And this whole internal conflict, it leads right into the crossroads moment. Because the pressure of resisting someone so reliable, it eventually made her doubt herself.
She started questioning if she was maybe blocking something that God is doing, which makes sense. He was always there when she called.
It's a classic trap, isn't it?
Yeah.
Almost like a spiritual sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah.
You think, I've invested this much time, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And this self-doubt gets amplified by a huge life event.
Mhm.
She accepts a job opportunity. That means she has to move from North Carolina to Dallas, Texas.
And let's not forget, she already had this long-held feeling, this expectation that her future husband would be in Texas. So this move just creates this massive tension.
Oh, huge tension. The expectation of the future in one state versus the immediate, reliable comfort sitting right there in North Carolina.
So with her about to leave, the stakes are suddenly much, much higher.
And this man, he makes his final, most powerful play. She's already accepted the job. She's getting ready to move. And he calls and asks if he can come over to talk.
Okay, let's just paint this scene because it's pivotal. It's evening. She's in her backyard by the fire pit.
Just relaxing, trying to de-stress from the move.
The moon is out. It's creating what she calls a surreal moment, almost a God moment. It's the perfect setting for an emotional confession.
And he basically throws everything he has at her, looks her right in the eyes, and just confesses everything. Says he loves her, doesn't want to lose her, wants her to be his wife.
Wow.
And this is coming from a guy she described as having this tough, hard exterior, which just made the vulnerability feel so much more genuine and compelling.
I can see that kind of confession, especially in that moment, it would pull at anyone's heartstrings.
For sure. And she admits it. She started to genuinely wonder, have I been wrong this whole time? Is he the one? And I'm just too scared from my past trauma to see it.
And then he leaves her hanging.
He absolutely does. He seals the emotional turmoil by telling her he has to travel early the next morning to Atlanta for work.
Which is like a 7-hour drive.
A 7-hour drive. Says he'll be gone a couple of days.
Yeah.
And promises they will finish talking about this when he gets back. So now he's left her in this 48-hour emotional vacuum, completely vulnerable and questioning everything.
And that brings us to the most crucial turning point, the prayer and the revelation. Up to now, she's only been relying on her own gut, her own fear.
But now, facing this massive decision, she realizes she has to submit the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a critical shift, right? Moving from fear-based intuition to faith-based submission.
So what does she do?
She went to God that night with a very specific, very high-stakes prayer. She said, God, if this is my husband, show me, and if it's not revealed to me what I need to see so that I don't make a wrong decision.
She needed proof, not just a feeling anymore.
She needed objective proof, and she got it with terrifying speed. The very next morning, she texts him, and he texts back, says he's arrived in Atlanta, he's settling into his room, everything seems normal.
His story's holding up.
The story is holding up, but the answer to her prayer was undeniable, and it came way faster than 48 hours. Later that same morning, around 10 or 11 a.m., she drives to her local grocery store.
Which is just down the street from her house.
Blocks from her house. And who does she see there?
The man who claimed to be 7 hours away in Atlanta, grocery shopping with another woman.
Right in her neighborhood.
Right.
That is the power of that submitted prayer. It cuts through all the emotional haze instantly.
The proof arrived before she even had time to really process the conversation from the night before.
Exactly. She was actually on the phone with her brother when it happened, and his advice was just perfect. He said, let it go. God showed you what you need to see. Be thankful for the immediate clarity.
So how did she handle the confrontation?
With incredible composure. She saw him, he saw her, and he tried to act like he didn't. She just let it sit. She waited for him to follow up on his promise to finish the conversation.
And when he did?
A couple of days later, he reaches out, acting like nothing happened. She calmly confronts him, says, hey, you lied about being in another state. And he denies it, denies seeing her, tries to play on my intelligence.
That denial, the gaslighting, that's the final nail in the coffin.
That's the objective confirmation. Her initial intuition was 100% correct.
So, okay, let's synthesize this. What are the big takeaways here for you, the listener, about wisdom and obedience?
Well, first, the immense value of boundaries. She said she felt this profound relief that she had maintained celibacy. Her disappointment wasn't even about romantic betrayal because they weren't dating.
Right. It was something else.
It was that a trusted friend had deceived her with this monumental lie just hours after professing love and commitment. Those boundaries protected her from a much greater loss.
And the core strategic lesson here is so important for anyone facing a big decision. She realized that the enemy can send a really powerful decoy.
A very powerful decoy. Something that looks exactly like the right thing, offering help, kindness, stability, right before the genuine God-intended thing is about to arrive.
So the deception uses your real legitimate needs against you.
It's the mechanism of deception.
Yeah.
It uses your need for help or your desire for connection to provide a substitute. She said it so clearly. Just because somebody has been in your life for a long time, been a good person to you, doesn't mean that that is for you.
And it was her obedience to that initial gut feeling, the one she couldn't even explain logically, combined with that final submitted test that saved her.
She knew she had dodged a bullet, and she was just so grateful she obeyed that persistent internal warning.
And the reward for that obedience was pretty immediate.
Immediate and profound. Right after this whole situation, she started talking to her now husband, the man who was exactly what she actually needed, someone who, unlike the handyman, genuinely saw me as a woman of God, not just a project or someone to flatter.
That's what a powerful story about active discernment. The synthesis here seems really clear. You've got knowledge of self-understanding your past, combined with active guidance, like that prayer, and together they can give you an immediate, concrete answer.
And we've been focused on relationships. But you, the listener, can apply this exact same process to any high-stakes choice. Replace potential partner with potential investor or new job. The rules are the same.
Does this opportunity truly see your vision?
Or is it just flattering you with resources and immediate help while masking a fundamental deception?
So when you're at one of those pivotal crossroads, what are you relying on? Is it your fear? Is it the external flattery? Because so often the most helpful information isn't intellectual. It's not years of data. It's instantaneous, undeniable proof that you get after you ask for clarity.
So here's our final provocative thought for you to chew on. If you're weighing a major decision, are you willing to pray for a specific immediate sign, even if the answer means saying goodbye to a seemingly perfect opportunity?
Because sometimes the most undeniable answer you'll ever get is the sight of the perfect candidate, caught grocery shopping with their actual priorities 10 minutes from your front door.